Cool. Okay. So actually, I see we have a lot of participants. So I think we can get started. So the first thing that I want to do is just introduce myself and what's going to be happening here. So my name is Justinas, or my friends call me Justas, which is a shorter version. I'm a customer engineer here at Nexos AI. And basically, what Nexos AI does, it's a platform, AI platform that helps you or any professional to become limitless at their work, at their jobs by basically delegating repetitive work to AI. And why are we doing this webinar? So the first reason is because AI can feel intimidating, and especially for non-technical people. Because I've noticed with working with many different clients that when they hear AI, they either think that if they need to build an AI agent, it has to be technical and complicated, which is it shouldn't be the case. And today I'm going to show you exactly how, like in a matter of few minutes, you can build AI agents that will boost your productivity and can automate that repetitive work. Yeah, so we're actually going to focus on a few main use cases. And this is not going to be a theory, so I'm not going to show any like slideshows or anything like that. But the main thing is, we're going to be focusing on is building AI slide decks. So basically building slide decks with AI agents, turning data into reports and dashboards, then creating daily briefing agents, and turning your meetings into documents. So basically, from my experience, these are usually the areas where people spend the most amount of time putting data from one source to another, creating beautiful slide decks, creating documents for their clients, for their managers, so on and so forth. So that being said, I think we can actually start sharing the screen, which I'm gonna do shortly. As I said, I'm juggling like 5 different tabs, so bear with me. Just want to make sure I'm going to share the right one. Okay, where is it? Share, desktop, and share. Cool. Do we see my screen? Right. Okay. So first of all, what I'm going to do is if you ever use Nexus or whatever, or want to figure out how this goes, you're going to be landed here. By the way, you will be able to try all of this for free. You can register, try it yourself. That's why I'm showing this. And where you're going to land, of course, we have a chat, but the main thing that I want to show you today and emphasize are agents. So whenever you're going to be end up in Nexus, click on agents here. And this is the place where we already have pre-built agent templates. So for example, if I would click into browse templates, I could see a variety of different agents already in here. But today I want to show you how to create agents from scratch, just talking with AI and without being technical. Because I know that all of us have very different tasks, ways of working, different requirements. Therefore, sometimes templates are good, but they don't work all the time for everyone. That being said, the first use case that actually I want to cover is going to be the slide deck agent. For that, I'm simply going to click on create agent and start from scratch. And we're going to be redirected to the agent builder. This is the place where you can actually start typing in whatever you want to automate, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to build the agent for. And this is going to create an agent for you. There's also a studio button. So if I'm going to click on this, this pulls out this panel on the right. And in here, I will see all of the details about the agent. And here I can test the agent as I'm building it. So as I mentioned, the first agent is going to be the slide deck agent. For this one, what I'm going to do, because I already pre-written prompts, because, I don't want to type on camera. Oh, damn, this is like a bunch of tabs. Wait, hold on. Okay. Okay, let me copy the prompt. What I'm going to do is I'm going to paste the prompt. It shouldn't look intimidating at all because this is regular, I don't know, prompt, just me telling what I want to do. So I'm going to send it out right away. And what's going to happen right now? In the prompt, I'm saying basically, I want to create an agent that creates slide decks. Each time I talk to the agent, I will share the content around which I want the slide deck to be created. It should only work when I provide information. That means that agent shouldn't proceed until it has information. And when the agent is creating a slide deck, the design has to be black and white. Whenever possible, add animations, make sure it looks visually appealing. Slide deck has to be good. And it's important that it would be always the best quality. So very general, very broad prompt. And from this, it's going to be enough to create a fully functional agent. But before we proceed, I just want to recap and just tell you what we're looking at. So on the left, as I mentioned, we have the agent builder. Over here, I don't know, put my thoughts, ideas, what I have in mind, and there is AI behind it that's going to start creating the agent. Once we put our thoughts in here, all of that information is transferred to the right side. On the right side, there are three options. First option is the flow. So whenever we create the agent, we can see the step-by-step process of the agent, how it's going to work, what it's going to do, so on and so forth. In this case, for example, I can see that agent is going to create professional PPTX slide decks. This is going to be the step-by-step process. What I also can do is go ahead and try the agent. So here I would, for example, have the first iteration of the agent. And if I want to try it, I would just input the data. And lastly, if I want to get a bit more technical or go a bit more in details, I can click on the gear icon and actually manually update some things. So for example, maybe I can schedule it, maybe I can change the model, maybe I can change the creativity, instructions, add integration, so on and so forth. But as I promised, this is going to be for non-techie people, even though I don't believe this is too techie. But I'm going to just exit this out. And here I'm going to input a test prompt. So for example, okay, I have my first iteration of agent. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to add this prompt. And on top of it, I'm going to attach the file. So in here, I'm going to add campaign data like so. And here, I'm just going to right now trigger it. So what happens? The agent that we just created on the left side, on the right side, will start working on the slide deck. And in here, I uploaded ad campaign data. So this is just a data about an advertising campaign. And all that I said was, I want to create a slide deck for our monthly marketing performance review. The slides are going to be shown for our management team. So the last sentence is mainly to emphasize the importance of the slide deck. And right now, what starts happening is that agent, the one that we created on the left, starts creating the design of the slide deck, starts analyzing what is inside the Excel sheet, and starts preparing to output the result. So if I expand this, I can actually go a bit in depth and see what's happening, what AI is doing. So for example, it first started planning process, then it processed the data, and I can see, I can expand, go a bit more into depth, but as I'm not technical, I don't know the codes, I don't actually care what's happening behind the scenes. I can collapse it and wait until I get the final result. But I know this can take time because, for example, we've inputted a lot of data. We're probably going to get like 10, maybe 12 slides. And imagine how long that would take for you. So the same way, it's going to take a bit longer for AI than just a regular prompt. So for that, I've actually prepared an example output. Of course, when this is going to finish, I'm going to show you the final output. But here, I just wanted to show because I've ran these exact prompts before and I got the result. So for that, I'm going to open up a slide deck right now on the screen as this is creating the slides, and I'm going to show it here. So you should see the slide deck. As you remember in the prompt, what I did, I just simply said, make it black and white because I don't have specific guidelines. If you do, you can outline the design, what are the criteria. If you have your specific design guidelines, you can outline all of that in the AI agent. And then as you can see, it creates the slide deck. at this stage, because it was first iteration, it might not look as something as impressive as you have expected. But the good thing is, what it does, it analyzes the data, it creates the charts. And for example, like how long would it take me to create this chart? I don't know, probably a long time in Excel to figure it out, but it maps out the revenue in bar charts, the spend in line chart. We can see the ROAS that we get, what's the average, so on and so forth. And we get this data presented, for example, if we have a meeting, very quickly for both clients, our managers, so on and so forth. So this is just an example, but let's see what's going to be the practical or the real one that we get here. So I'm going to download this and I'm going to open it up. And let me put it in here. And let me share it. So as you can see, design is a bit different. So, I mean, the structure of the slide deck is a bit different, but overall it looks very similar because it reuses the same prompt and the same structure that we shared before. But we can see the bar chart already looks a bit different than what we had previously. But overall, I'd say not bad as from a first try, but don't leave yet because we can actually now see the final result. Let's say I'm not satisfied, it's not good enough. I want to make an impression, on people that I'm going to be showing this slide deck for. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy a second prompt. So now let's go from the right section where we have the result to the left section. In the left section, I am saying to the AI what I want the agent to be better at. So I'm going to send this prompt. And basically, what I'm saying here is that I want to improve this agent by making sure it always creates HTML slide decks. And I want those slide decks to have animations and be as engaging as possible. So basically, I'm just saying that I want HTML slide decks because I know they have a higher potential for quality and how they're going to look. And based on like these two simple sentences, the agent is going to be updated. And then what we can do is we can actually iterate it over it again and see what's the outcome going to be like. So let's just wait for a second. I can see that right now we're planning an update to switch from PowerPoint to HTML. So it's working its magic behind the scenes, updating the agent. And we can see right away that the agent has been updated. We've removed everything from the right side because that was the previous iteration and the previous result. On the left side, from the agent builder, we're getting the details. So the output format is going to be a bit different. There's going to be built-in slide engine, rich animations, black and white design, 16:9 aspect ratio. Perfect. Now, let's do the same thing. Let's upload exactly the same data and let's add exactly the same prompt. So again, on the right side, where we are testing the agent, I'm uploading the data and sending the prompt. So we are still testing the agent. We still haven't finished building it yet. And in this case, now my expectation is that instead of using regular simple slides with PPTX format, it's going to improve the slide deck with a nice design by using HTML formatting. And again, if I don't care about the technical details, about the full process, etc., I just can collapse this, leave it as it is, and then can wait until I get my final result. Of course, if I go into Flow, I can see the step-by-step process that we're using for the agent. But in this case, I didn't really change much. I just changed the design guidelines and what I want the output format to be. So we're still working on the slide deck. It's still processing data. Keep in mind that there might be a lot of data, so it might take a while. But again, I came in prepared. That means that I already have a finished result of how this iteration would work. So I'm going to open that up as well. And this is the slide deck that you can get from that comment that I just did. And we simply get again, black and white design, but all of the metrics are analyzed, all of the data is inputted, and it's a lot more interactive, as you can see. Numbers are appearing on the screen, it's popping up. It looks definitely way, way better. As you can see, we have the bar charts, we have the ROAS in here, which is really, really, really nice. At least in my opinion. I don't know. Share in the chat what you guys think. Yeah, so as you can see, the design is overall quite good. It's very engaging. I can go back, I can go forward, and within like minutes, like literally, how long? I don't know. Like my intro probably was like 5 minutes, and then we had two iterations, and this would be the final result that you can have with an agent. So let's just exit this out and see if we have the final result. Okay, let me just expand it. Okay, I can see that it's still processing the data. So this might take a bit longer because, as you've seen, the design is a bit more advanced. Okay, all right. It's still processing, but we can also check the flow. So for example, here, different from the PPTX format. What we have, again, wait for the content. So what the AI agent has to wait for, structure content into slides, design HTML structure, build CSS, JavaScript. That's the technical language we don't need to know, but we at least know that it's a step-by-step process. And finally, generate and save a self-contained HTML file that we can use as a slide deck. So that's exactly the flow right now that we've got the agent working on. Again, we can expand it. For some reason, it's still thinking a lot on the data. What I could do is actually, I could probably clear the chat and restart it. It might be that it cached, but let's just see. Actually, what I can do as well, I can open up a new tab. Oh no, that's gonna take too long. Let's just look at this. Yeah, it's still analyzing data. Okay, I don't want to take too long with this one, so we can come back at this later or when it provides the final result, because the one that I show you, that would be the final result. And then we can come back to that. So let's say I finish the agent. What I can do is actually save it. And now this brings me to our the slide deck creator agent, because here, if I go into oh, by the way, sorry guys, I see we have some questions. Can I edit the slides after they are generated? So actually, yes. What you can do is actually, when you get the generated file or the generated slides, you can just type in the chat. Let's say I didn't like the page number one, update it to this and this and that. And it's simply gonna update and output you a new file. And you can keep having that conversation and can update your slide decks. And here, once we save the agent, we actually have been redirected to models and agents. And here I can just simply click on agent, select the agent and start working with it. So let's say I'm going to input the exact same data. I'm going to give the prompt, and later we can come back to this and see what was the final result, because I want to move to the other use cases. So now we're going to leave it as it is. And now we're going to move to the agent use case number 2. So as you can see, we have the slide deck creator finished. Another thing or another use case that we're going to build is going to be daily brief agent. For that, again, this is even going to be more simple than before. I'm going to create agent, start from scratch. Again, I'm going to expand the studio. So studio is where you test it and where you see the flow. On the agent builder is where you actually input the data. Here, I'm going to copy the prompt. I'm going to say, I want to create a daily brief agent, or we can actually send it right away. I want to create daily brief agent. This agent should review my calendar for the day, all of my emails from today and previous days, and create summary that will include what's waiting for me today, what action points are needed from my end, and anything that I have missed. So as all of us do, usually when you start your workday, you catch up on your calendar, on your email, on your Slack, and only then you usually proceed, with your work. And the good thing, actually, by looking at the agent, because I already see we have the agent summary or daily brief agent. And what it did, it actually created an agent that runs at 7 a.m., composes a structured summary of your schedule, and posts brief to Slack channel. Even though I've actually haven't specified that I need to send the summary to Slack channel, what it did, because in the previous sessions, it's remembered what tool I was using, and now it redirects all of that information to Slack. Of course, also I can come in here and say it runs every day at 7 a.m. I can maybe say I want it to run at 9 a.m. I can send this in. Maybe I don't even need to test this because I know that the time is not right. What it's going to do is going to basically redo the agent, and now it's going to be triggered every single time. So now let's have the flow reconfigured. Right, we have it here. If I click on the trigger, I can see that it's going to be daily at 9 a.m. It's going to retrieve today's calendar, going to retrieve emails, synthesize and form a daily brief, and post daily brief to Slack. Basically perfect, exactly what I wanted. What we can do is we can try the agent, and this one, it's not triggered by prompt, by not what I input, but it's actually triggered by daily schedule. So here, I would need to click it right now, run agent, but we can go actually into settings and we can see that there is a schedule. It repeats every single day at 9 a.m. So of course, if it's Saturday or Sunday, I can tell it in the agent builder, don't run it on Saturday and Sunday, run it only on work weeks, work days, and that would be it. But here, as a demonstration, I'm going to run the agent and you will see it will go into my calendar. It will go into my email inbox. Is going to collect all of that data. And before I even start my workday, it's going to present me with all of the information. And the key thing is not about, how much this will save me time or whatever, because yes, I probably can spend extra 20 minutes every day to collect that information. But the key that I want to show you is that how easy was to build this thing. Like all I had to do is I had to type in, and for those integrations, I actually only had to connect it previously by confirming the Gmail connection. And I see we have another question that I should probably address. So what integrations does it support? Just Slack or other tools too? So yeah, so in this case, as you can see right away, it has, for example, Calendar, Gmail, Slack. For Microsoft users, what we have is like Teams, Outlook, OneDrive, SharePoint. So basically have a lot of those integrations available. And in here, right away, I want to show you the summary that we got on screen. So this was collected again from my Gmail and calendar schedule. Okay, I can see what I have for the day, action items. So I can even see that, yeah, I need to do something before tomorrow. There's a handover doc that I need to handle, missed pending things, stuff, and quick notes. So everything that's relevant for me. And then what I can do is actually pull up my Slack and show you exactly the same information that I received. So this was the message that I received. So every day I don't even need to go into the Nexus. What I can do is I can pull up Slack on my phone and can see, okay, this is the today's schedule. This is action items from my email. This is what I've probably missed. So I missed definitely a handover doc that I need to handle before tomorrow. And yeah, so for example, there's no items for tomorrow and then some quick notes. So as you can see, it was very, very simple and very easy to configure all of these integrations and just make it work. So again, let's say this works for me. Now it's going to send the message at 9 a.m. every day. What I can simply do is save it. And that's it. Now this agent shows that it is scheduled, it's in my account, and every day I'm going to receive a summary of what waits me for the next day. So yeah, the goal was to show you how simple this is, and just to quickly recap. So within like what, 25 minutes, or even less than that, we built a daily brief agent that can check your calendar, email, and send the messages to Slack or Teams or whatever you use. And then we created a slide deck generator, which is amazing. Yes, we have some other questions. Let me address those. So will my colleagues see my emails if I share the agent with someone? No, and that's actually a very good question. So what happens is if you create this agent and share with someone, they will simply just need to confirm their email connection, meaning that you will see your emails, that person will see his emails, and that information is not shared between you, but technically you have the exact same agent with the exact same prompt. Now we see another question related to the slides agent. Question similar to Isabel's. Can I make slide deck according to company template or brand book? Yes. So what I did in my case, I simply just described the design that I wanted black and white, and that's it. In your case, what you can do, you can put in all of the color palette, all of the design guidelines, so on and so forth. And then based on that, the agent builder is going to create the agent that is capable of creating designs based on what you added. And of course, you can always iterate on top of it. So if it misses some details, you can add that manually in instructions, or what you can do is write new instructions on top. Okay, one more question. Um, do I need to create a new agent for every slide presentation I'm making? No. So actually, right now we've made the agent. We can see that previously the slide deck agent finished its work. So if I'm going to open up, I can see the final result over here. I'm going to open it. And this is the new slide deck that we created for the HTML format previously. So let's just walk through it quickly. We see the agenda. Of course, for example, for me, this formatting might be weird. I don't know, maybe it took a bit a creative approach, but maybe I would want to change this or make sure it never does this again. So I could instruct it to do that. And then we have, again, the exact same numbers from the analysis it did, the key metrics, the performance, top performing days, ROAS trends, so on and so forth. So as you can see, quite a good quality slide deck that we have here. And to answer the question, if we have to keep remaking the agent for slide deck, no. So we made it once. Let's go to the agents. And here, if I want to reuse the same slide deck creator, I just simply click chat now, and I'm already chatting with the agent that we made previously. So you basically create it once, but you can reuse it as many times as you want. And you only need to update it whenever you see something is off or something is not working as you have expected. Right, another question. Can I see how many LLM credits tokens each agent run is consuming? Yes, you can actually see like how many, let's say, consumption there is. That's under the platform settings. We're not going to go over to that right now. But basically, yes, there's analytics that you can go on into the settings. Actually, I can't click on that for some reason. Yeah, so there's settings which you can click on into and check your organization's, let's say, token consumption, or how many times the agent was run, how many prompts were sent to agents, how many chats were sent. So there's a lot of breakdowns of data that you can see in there. But yeah, if no further questions, what we can do now is move to a different use case. So I hope you guys are not bored yet, because there's going to be some interesting stuff. Because the next thing that we're going to build is actually going to be a sales proposal agent. So we've all been in that situation where you have a recorder in your meeting, or you don't even take notes in your meeting, and after the meeting you realize that, hell, I need to prepare a summary for that meeting. So to solve that issue, what I'm going to build is an agent that actually creates documents or client proposals based on what was discussed in the meeting. So for this, again, I can open up the studio right away. I'm gonna copy my prompt, and in here I'm gonna paste it and send it. So let's just quickly go over it. In here, what I'm saying is I want to create an agent that checks Google Drive folder called Meet Recordings, fetches the latest recording, and creates a proposal for a client based on what was discussed during the meeting. So basically, for those that worked with, I don't know, the same probably applies to Teams and Microsoft. But for example, in Google Meets, you can record a meeting with Gemini. Whenever that meeting is ended and finished, there's a recording that appears in Meet Recordings folder. In here, you can always open it up and see the transcript of that meeting. So for example, I can see the meeting between me and Sarah that we had. This is how the meeting went. Everything was transcribed. And inside the agent, now what we want to do is that every time, for example, I have a meeting with a client and I need to prepare a proposal of what we're going to make for them, what's going to be the solution, so on and so forth. Instead of actually going into that folder, searching for the transcript, copying the information, pasting that into AI, asking it to provide it in a certain format, so on and so forth. Instead, again, I'm going to create an agent for. So we have a flow. And in here, what we see, we have again the trigger, which is going to be triggered by prompt. It's analyzing the document, so on and so forth. But right away, for example, I can see that from the flow, there's something missing. And I know this from my experience, but you can also notice that when you're simply testing the agent. But I see that there is no output format, meaning that the agent is gonna provide me the answer, but it's gonna provide it in here, in as a text. But instead, what I want to have is I actually want to have a PDF document. So here again, right away, since I noticed the issue, I can add new prompt. Oh, I accidentally pressed enter. Okay, it's going to resend it once again. But basically, what I want to mention for the agent as well is that I want to create a PDF document that immediately after the meeting, maybe I can send it to the client. So I can say, okay, this is what we've discussed. This is the project that you want. This is how much the project is going to cost. This is going to be the maintenance fee, the development fee, so on and so forth. And then within like, I don't know, minutes, I have a finished proposal that I can share with the client. Okay, I by accident sent an empty prompt, so let's just check. Okay, let me just discard the draft. I'm gonna start from scratch. So I'm gonna send the exact same prompt as previously in here, that it should create meet recordings, and then we're gonna see mention that we want a PDF document from those recordings. So again, the agent builder is working behind the scenes. It's configuring the agent based on the previous flow that we've seen. And for example, this time, maybe it might realize that it needs to generate the PDF document, or that's what I want. So it can always be different cases, but the more details you add in the agent builder, usually the better, because then you're going to have the more capable agent. Okay, we can see the same agent has been configured. We're generating the flow. Okay, and again, format proposal for presentation, but it still doesn't specify for a PDF. But I want specifically PDF. So what I'm going to type in over here, I want the agent to output the proposal as PDF document. Again, I'm sending this information, or I actually didn't see this, but I could have just clicked on this one, enable PDF export for proposals, and that would have done the same. So it's already actually suggesting what could be possible next steps. Okay, so we have, we're generating new iteration. And in here, right away, what we're going to do is we're going to try to trigger it ourselves and see if it's able to go into the Google Drive, fetch that transcript, and then provide a final output. But while we wait, I see some questions. So is RAG implemented for agents? Very good question. Very good question. Yes, it is available. I can actually show it right away when it loads. Just give me a moment. Yeah. So regarding the agent that we just created, this is the agent. It can go to Drive, fetch the document, generate the proposal, and create the PDF. But let's say if we want to add some RAG capabilities for the agent, I would go into the settings, and in here we have a section knowledge base, which is under here named as projects. So it's might be confusing, but it's basically the knowledge base, the same as projects. So you would enable this thing, and then you would be able to select any of the projects that you have, the files that you uploaded to the RAG database. And essentially that way, agent would have RAG capabilities. But in this case, again, we see the flow. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try the agent. Here, the agent is going to be triggered by prompt, because what I can say, fetch me the meeting recording from March 30th, or fetch me recording from April 1st, or whatever. But in this case, I'm going to just select the default option, generate a proposal from the latest meeting. Now, how it's going to work is going to go into the Google Drive. It's going to find the Meet Recordings folder. And then from that folder is going to extract the information of the latest file, and then going to share that as a proposal. And right away, we actually can see like, what's the thinking process? Let's say the first time it invoked Google Drive for some reason, it said that no folder found the exact name. Let me try broader search for meeting related files and folders. So let's see how this is going to handle this situation. But for example, if I would want it to be more specific to maybe prevent this situation, what I could have done is went into the folder and I just could copy the link of the Google Drive folder. That way, we will have the exact link to the Google Drive, and agent will always know which folder to look for. But while we're waiting for the proposal, of course, because it's generating the file, it can take a bit longer. What I did, I prepared an output. Let me open the output, and this is how it would look like. So let's say we've ran the agent. I've ran actually this agent previously with the exact same prompts, and it generated proposal for the AI agent implementation. So for example, Sarah wanted to solve her specific use case. So what we did, we've talked it through the meeting. I checked what tools do they use in their company, what are the dependencies, so on and so forth. And what then agent did, it provided the executive summary, current challenges, client goals, proposed solution. It described how our solution is going to work for the client, which systems the client uses. So we can see that they're using Zendesk, Shopify, Notion, and Postgres. What's going to be the scope of work. So basically, everything that we've discussed in the meeting, the agent fetched that information from the Google Drive and then finally generated us the proposal that we can technically send to the client within minutes after confirming that everything looks good. And probably you had experiences where you have a meeting with a client, you discuss the details, you agree on something, then it takes you 5 days to prepare the proposal. You send the proposal to the client, and the client never gets back because they found someone else who got back to them quicker. So yeah, but okay, we've had the agent in here. It generated the proposal. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna download it. And again, I'm always like scared to open it because I never know what's gonna be the output. But as you can see, I didn't actually add any design guidelines. So that's why I was like, what's it going to look like? But it looks quite decent. Again, we have executive summary, we have client background, problem statement, proposed solution, basically everything prepared right away, which is excellent. And I think this design even looks better than the previous one that I showed from my original run. But in my opinion, this looks good. Of course, we might not want to provide PDF. We might want to provide a Word document. In that case, I could just update the document myself. If I find any mistakes, I can update it. If I find mistakes like this, I can go in here and say, hey, update the page number 1 or something like that. And it can update the page. But in this case, again, I like the output. Actually, it looks better than my previous one. So I'm going to save it. And this is now again going to redirect me to the chat interface where I can then go and switch between the agents. As you can see, so if we move back to the agents, we can see we already have created 3 different agents for 3 different use cases. And the 4th agent, the final one that I want to create, is going to be the document analysis agent. So for that, again, very simple, start from scratch, open up the agent builder. I like to have the studio and flows on the side. In here, I'm going to copy the first prompt, which is going to say, I want to create a dashboard agent that generates high-level KPI dashboards, total revenue, profit trends, year-on-year growth, top products, regional heat maps, focused on what leadership cares about. So for example, I already mentioned, this is probably going to be for leadership. So we need this agent to be, on its toes to basically have the highest level KPI dashboards. And we're going to see how that's going to be generated. Okay. So we already have the agent. And since we already know how this goes, let's just test it. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to wait while the flow loads. So we have the ingest and parse data file, clean and process data, calculate metrics. Yeah, sounds good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on try agent. And in here, I'm just going to add a product sales data set. So again, a lot of data in here. And what I can say probably, I don't know, create a dashboard from this. As simple as that. And now we should get a file. Again, in this case, I actually haven't specified what type of file do I want? Do I want a PDF? Do I want a dashboard in the PDF? Do I want an image file? Do I want any other type of file or format? I actually haven't specified that in this prompt when I was creating the agent. So let's see what we're going to get. But in my case, again, since I've come prepared, I'm going to pull up the KPI dashboard that it previously created. And this one was in PDF format. So as you can see, here it created a summary where we have a PDF with all of the KPIs, monthly net revenue trends, so on and so forth. We have different charts in here, analysis by top products by revenue, product performance scorecard. So it did all of this from that one simple prompt. Yeah, we can also see some some pie charts, tables, more tables. But as you can see, this is something that's already more presentable than sending just an Excel file to your colleague and letting them figure out by themselves. Instead, what you can do, you can upload this, let the AI do its job, and then send a nicely formatted document with all of the key points that you want to cover. And of course, again, I could go back to the agent, I say that, okay, I didn't like how you implemented the KPIs. Maybe instead of showing it at the top, put it at the bottom. But the thing is that AI usually knows the best practices or what are the standards. So it usually follows those standards. And like saying that I want the headlines at the bottom would be something unusual, but it still, could do it with the right prompt and the right instructions. Okay, so what we can see that from the previous run, we're actually generating the files, we're generating the dashboard. With the dashboard, the thing is that, of course, since it has a lot of charts in the background, it's actually generating a lot of those charts one by one, and then adding that into, let's say in my case, in the PDF example. In this case, it could actually be in an image or anything else because I haven't specified. Oh, okay, but actually it realize by itself that it has to be PDF dashboards. But while we're waiting, we can actually go back to some questions. Using an agent requires spread credits. What is included in Pro Plan subscription then? So basically, if you get the subscription for 25 euros, you can start building agents. You can use the chat. You can use RAG functionality. Agents, chat, RAG, everything is included in the 25 euro cost. So basically, it covers the platform and it's based per user, not per token consumption. Okay, another question. Do we have to have a specific note taker program for the meetings, like Firefly note taker? If no, will the other person see the note taker program is in the meeting? So it really depends on, let's say, what you're using or what your organization is using. For example, if you're using Firefly Note Taker, it has to join the meeting, but then it's going to output that file into Google Drive. You can set that up. And if that transcript is uploaded automatically to Google Drive, then this agent is going to work with it no matter what. But with Firefly, with Gemini, with these note takers, usually people can see that they are in the meeting. But as far as I know, there are some providers that hide that information. So yeah, it's up to you basically to decide. And then whenever you get that transcript, then you can use Nexos agents to handle them. The file generation summary and so on. And then another question, if we want to avoid any AI hallucinations, where the visualizations could be made up, not according to data provided for AI agent, what are the best ways to make sure the visual output is always accurate? Okay, so this, it always depends. It always really depends on what are your original prompts and any instructions that you add for the agent. So the more detail, the more instructions, the more guardrails you add for the AI agent prompt, the less likely it's gonna hallucinate. So for example, like the iterations that I'm showing to you, they work very fast, but I always would encourage people when they generate these documents, these files, these analysis, they would go over the instructions and just read it once. Understand if it's exactly following the process that it should. And then whenever you get the output, just double check if it makes sense. I'm not saying like go over it in detail, but it usually is very accurate. And in this case, how we're also trying to prevent this, we're trying to always for the agents pick one of the most powerful models. So it's either Claude Sonnet 4.6, Claude Opus 4.6, basically focusing on the model quality, and then also making sure, we get appropriate guardrails set. So for the last example of the KPI dashboard, so we can see this is the final result, a new document that was created, the dashboard that we've asked. We can see the charts, the stats, like so. Yeah, and in my opinion, this actually looks quite good. Yes. So I'm gonna exit this out. And again, as usual, what you can do is save the agent. You're going to be redirected to the chat window where you can choose the exclusive KPI dashboard, or I can check any of other agents and I can start working with them immediately. This means I no longer have to recreate the agent one by one. I can just switch between them and complete my tasks. Or also, if we go to the agents, we can already see all of the agents that we've created today in a matter of what, like 40 minutes. So right now I can have a scheduled agent, I can have agents that I can chat with, tell them what to do, so on and so forth. So in my opinion, this is actually pretty cool on how fast you can get stuff done. Okay, another question. Once an agent is created, can it be shared or used by other team members? Yes, very good question. So when you have the agent, what I can simply do is click on these three dots and then just click share. And when I'm gonna click share, I can pick an email to which I want to send. I can create teams in the Nexos workspace, and then I can share with that whole team. So there's a variety of different cases how you can reuse the agents with your colleagues. Then the next question, can I generate slides without creating agent just from chat? That's also true. So for example, what you can do is you can go into chat, new chat, and in here, I can simply type create a slide deck from, I don't know, from data I am going to share. And then I can upload the file, and this is going to be enough for the agent to create the slide decks. Why Agent Builder was necessary in this case, I just wanted to show how you can build agents that are reusable, meaning that you create them once and can reuse it over and over again. And when something stops working, you can tweak it a little bit and then keep using again. So that's the main advantage of the agents. What you can do is simply in the chat, just input all of the data, all of the details, and if that's more convenient, then yeah, sure you can do that. One more question. Do you AI agents allowed to record instructions notes by voice? Oh, yes. So for example, here we have a voice recorder. I don't know if I've enabled on this screen, but I can click, hey, how are you? Yeah. Oh, it recorded the, yeah, okay. Now I had to enable the voice recording. So, hey, how are you? I can click it twice and it transcribes everything that I said. So instead of typing it in, again, I can just talk with it and it's going to transcribe all of the information into the chat. And yeah, I kind of no longer need to, type in. Okay. Do we have any other questions? Okay, so we don't have any other questions. Okay, I'm giving you 30 more seconds. If you have any questions, just put those in. Yeah. But if there's no other questions, there's one important thing that I want to mention, which I already mentioned, is that if you want to try these agent builders, what you can do is you can actually go to nexos.ai and just try them for free. We give some free credits so you can simply just log in, test the agent builder, see what you like, how it works, so on and so forth. And if you have any other agent ideas, thoughts, opinions, maybe you think that I missed something important, you can always reach out to me via LinkedIn and we can discuss. Even if you have like a use case, a cool use case that you want to build out, send a message to LinkedIn and I will be happy to reply and see how we can, make it work because I think this is exciting, how much you can do within a matter of minutes. So yeah, I think that's it. Cool. So, more questions, more questions. Okay, okay, okay. Can I connect my own HTTP API for real-time data instead of uploading Excels? Okay. So right now, the possibility to trigger agents, we have scheduled triggers, we have prompt triggers, but something as like webhooks or triggering agents with APIs right now is still not available. But it's something we're gonna for sure do it in the future, meaning that you will be able to trigger agents and so on and so forth. But yeah, the first iteration is gonna be with events from other tools that's coming out, and then we're gonna explore other options as well. I don't have the mic on. Why? How can I make it appear? Okay, so if you don't have a mic in here, what that probably means is that in your organization, you don't have voice models enabled. So what you can do, simply go into the nexos.ai, or you can just go on this bubble, purple bubble, and send us a message, and we're going to be able to enable the voice models, or check if we can enable the models for you, so you could, transcribe what you're talking. Cool. Okay. Okay, we have another one. Why your tool, Nexos AI, is better than Claude or others? Well, that's a sensitive topic because from my own experience, like yesterday, I've run a Claude prompt with web search enabled, and with one prompt, I reached 58% of limit. Then I tried the exact same thing with Nexus, and it doesn't even have a limit. So that's the first reason. Like, I don't even imagine like how right now hard it is to work with Claude. While every 5 hours you have to wait for the limits to reset. But another reason why I love Nexus is just the simplicity. Everything is clear. I know that there's a lot like hard language, at least in Claude. There's plugins, there's skills, there's integrations, and how do they differ? People have to figure that out by themselves. And in here, it's actually pretty straightforward. You have integrations, you have agents, you have the agent builder, and you can start building and you can start getting the results. So at least, that's my opinion. Okay, the questions keep coming in. Should I wait more? Is it gonna appear? No, I don't know. All right, so I think we're good. I'm gonna stop sharing screen, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Again, if you have any questions, reach out via Slack. Happy to help. And yeah, have a nice day. Bye.